So you wondering what in the world I'm doing with these power poles? I'm about to show you. All right, so we're here in Richmond County on one of our properties, and we're going to talk a little bit about Creosote power poles. Now, not just any regular power poles, the old school Creosote ones, okay? Now, if you guys look at the bottom of this Creosote pole, you'll see all the mud from the hogs rubbing on it. We're going to show you guys up close. So, as you can see, how they rub on this. They've rubbed on this so much. Look, they've even polished the ground wire. Okay, and so why do hogs rub on Creosote power poles? So you have to do a little digging to find out what Creosote is first, right? Creosote was used as a insect repellent to prolong the life of these poles so that termites and all kinds of bugs don't get into the wood and destroy this, right? Well, hogs, the geniuses that they are, have, you know, figured out over all the years that if they rub on these poles and get that creosote on their hide, it'll get rid of the lice, ticks, chiggers, and essentially it is to them a natural insect repellent. Even though it's not natural, but to them it's something that they could find in the wild, rub against, and it gets rid of those, and it actually, you know, feels better because it gets rid of all the just the aggravating mites and bugs that are chewing on them by rubbing on there. And so as you can see, actively right now the mud is all over this power pole. Now, so what does this mean for us, right? So the reason I got the power poles that are on the back of my truck is that we can actually take those power poles and set them, you know, near a bait site or somewhere in the woods that we like to hunt. The hogs during the summer months are going to come and rub all over that pole, and essentially it's just like you having bait on the ground all the time. They will come for miles to rub on that pole, because right now there is a feeder 200 yards from here, absolutely empty, has been empty since deer season, before turkey season. There's another feeder over here that's absolutely empty. We have not fed at all. However, the hogs have come simply for that pole. So we did have the pole on the back of the truck. I turned around and wash out, we lost the pole. So best thing we can do is drag it, because it is too dang heavy and Beth wasn't picking it up with me. So here's a short section that we're gonna put up. All right, you can find these power poles on Marketplace or anywhere, because a lot of the different companies are replacing old Creosote poles with the pressure treated power poles. Hogs do not like the pressure treated, like the green power poles. They don't mess with them. You have to find the old Creosote ones. So I picked this one. This is the very bottom section. This right here is the very bottom of the pole. So all the Creosote has soaked to the bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to dig a hole about 1.5 feet. This is going to go in the ground, leaving about, I cut this a little bit over 5 foot, so should leave about 3.5 foot out of the ground. So we're going to pick a spot right here. That way the hogs will come to it. We've got a bait site down at the swamp down in that direction. We've got a stand over here. Essentially what this is our summertime bait. This right here is going to bring hogs you know, hundreds of yards to come visit this pole all through the summer. And we're gonna go ahead and set this, and we'll put some cameras on it so you guys can see how they interact with the pole later. But right now, we're just gonna set it up, and you guys saw the pole before. They absolutely love Creosote power poles. So let's go ahead and get this thing set. All right, I'm gonna set it right there. That should be good.
Yeah.
Because we drive in here to bait, so I didn't want to put it in the middle, you know.
Yeah, I just figured I'd do this, and you just take clips that you want. And,
Okay. Whew. All right, guys. So we got it about that deep. Should leave us about 3.5 foot out of the ground. So you figure hogs, even big hogs, will rub on it, and that's this saturated top part is what they're really gonna like. So this whole log is saturated because it is the bottom of the power pole, but that's got all the juice. So we'll set it in this hole. Shoo! You know, I'm glad it's an overcast day, but man, it's still humid and hot. All right, let's get this thing in the hole. Oh yeah, I like it. So, I know you guys can't smell this thing, but if you guys have ever been around creosote, it's a strong smelling chemical. And again, creosote, you cannot buy it. All right, they've stopped using it years ago. You can't get it because years ago we researched it because we thought, man, if we can get some of this stuff and just brush it on some trees, we'll be rocking. Well, we found out you cannot get it. So you can look on Marketplace, you can look on different for sale ads. You got a buddy that works for the power company or the telephone company, chances are you can come up with some of these creosote poles. And a lot of times, even the people that build like a pole barn, right? If you had like a 30-foot pole, they usually all cut the bottoms off because of all the creosote. So I actually, even when I got these, I talked to a buddy of mine, and I told him, I said, do you have any nasty bottoms? I'm looking for the nastiest creosote bottom poles you got. And he said, yeah, I got a few. And that's where I got them. So there it goes. I'm gonna pack it down, and we are done. We are done. Now, thing about this creosote pole, you do not need to put any attractants on it. It has such a strong smell. That's it. And you'll see a lot of your power poles and your creosote poles are mainly going to be used throughout the summer on hot days. Sometimes during the winter, if they, you know, have a mild week or something, and they like get covered in like lice and ticks and, you know, mites and stuff, you'll see them kind of mess with the poles. But this is a hot spot for summertime hunting. Yep.